Okay, back out here on the Side and Wider DS, the Mud Goblin. Installed this air shock, D&M air shock, and like I've talked to you before, it's key to have the correct triangle. This is really tight. It's got a clamp inside this housing, not a clamp, but a adapter that bolts to the bottle here, and you can take the battery off. Well, I could take it off before with the coil spring, but now it's hitting this right here. When you get on it, it's touching, almost touching, hitting this a little. I don't like that, so I'm gonna have to jam it up further and clamp it somehow, or build a bracket with the welder, which I don't think I want to do. I'll probably just put some hose clamps on here, 2 hose clamps. I've seen other people do that, and apparently it's worked well. But this air shock is much smoother ride. I'll use one of these clamps, this hose clamp here, 2 of them here, maybe 3. And I want to get it as tight and as far up as I can there. And it's just barely rubbing. Maybe I could take a little saw and cut this off. But this is my lockout. I don't want to lose my lockout. But it rides a lot better now. It's closer to the XR Pro, the Mongoose XR Pro that I ride, as far as plushness goes, but not quite. Anyways, just one more thing. The clipping and clapping you guys hear, I think is coming from the derailleur here. I think it's old and worn out, and I've played around with it, tightened it up, set the settings. It's still making the noise. I ordered a new derailleur the other day. It's going to take a while for me to get around to putting it on, but eventually it'll go on. Okay, like I said, I'm just riding around today, and it's really overcast. It's probably 70 degrees out, which is great. Got the new air shock installed, and it's still hitting just a little, which doesn't give it its full range of motion when it rocks. But I'm gonna get that solved. You know, this thing was only, I think, 112 bucks, and the ride is a lot better, like I said before. And yeah, it's definitely it's well worth it. But they used to, pre-pandemic, before COVID hit, those things were only, you know, they were 80 bucks for the same air shock, $70-80. And you know, everything's just gone up. At $80 it was a steal, but at $120 I think that's pushing it. But see, right now I tightened up the derailleur, and it's not grinding and clanking, but it'll get loose again and start making the same sound. So really the only thing you can hear is my voice, the tires going over this light gravel, and the noise of the motor, the electric motor going tit-tit-tit-tit-tit like that. It never made that sound until I wrecked it and hit a huge rock. Hit perfect shot right on the mid-drive, and ever since then it's made that sound. So there's something in there at an odd angle, or it bent the spindle, or something like that. The transfer did something. But I'm just going to keep riding it till it goes, and we'll take it from there. All right, back at the old regular stomping grounds. Like I said, the air shock's working a lot better. What was strange, I've seen like 5 people. This is a flooded rock quarry right here, right? It's abandoned, they flooded it, then they gated it off, and no trespassing. I've seen 5 kids in there, they'd all jumped the fence. But I saw a kid the other day, it was hilarious. His mom, who's like 58 years old, in her 50s, lets him off. He runs up to the fence. She's sitting there watching him. He throws a towel over the top fence right here so it won't cut him, and he rolls over, grabs the towel, and goes running off real quick. I didn't film it, And his mom pulls off. Now she knows that you're not supposed to be in there. And I found that hilarious, you know. What would that be called if they got caught and they got a trespassing ticket? Would that be contributing to delinquency of a minor now? Which, I don't have a problem with people going in there. I think if they do stuff safe, they should probably be allowed to walk in there, you know, just be careful. But yeah, I bet you they charge you with something like that, contributing to delinquency of a minor. Nowadays, you do anything and it seems like you're on the wrong side. But I thought it was funny. But so far, no deers. Midday overcast. There's, what was that, a redbird cardinal or something? And no deer yet. But the deer are starting to move more. It's getting cooler. And they're starting to move more. So that's good. Alright, let's see what we can see here. The leaves are really starting to fall, but we've been getting such bad storms. The storm comes, knocks all the leaves down. Typically, we should be seeing them fall, you know, as you're riding now or walking. I mean, it's rained here the last, 3 days in a row, on and off, maybe 4. Yeah, it's pretty though, but look, those trees are really changing. Everything's turning yellow, brownish. It's so quiet here today. No one's here. I saw the flash earlier. He shot by me, coming towards me, and I saw him, but no one else. They got two or three guys fishing, but I haven't seen anyone walking around or riding or anything today. And it's a weekend, so interesting. Let's see down here. Yeah, I've got a couple. Well, I'll tell you next step. Okay, I got I've been posting this stuff online. I got a couple friends. I'm gonna change your names to protect the innocent. Let's call one Lenny Crouch. And Lenny's got 2 masters. And he's a smart guy, but I don't think he has any common sense. Or he doesn't show it all the time. He thinks he is right all the time. He's not right all the time. And the other one, let's call him Steve Norse. Now Steve is a good guy. He's the one I mentioned before in a video about when he was younger, he wrecked a motorcycle, and he has plates and screws in his leg, and he's fixing his car the other day, and he had a skin graft. When you have a skin graft, sometimes you can't feel. There's no feeling. So he was up underneath his car doing something, and it was hot, and he didn't realize his leg was touching the muffler. It's about 6-7 months ago, maybe 8, touching the muffler, and it was just burning the meat off his leg. So he said he smelled something burning like barbecue, and it was his leg. So he went to the doctors about that. He got a MRSA infection, and Steve is real frugal with his cash. He's got cash, but he's frugal. And he went to him and they said, you need an MRI. And he goes, okay. And he went to the MRI place, and they go, okay, $500. He's like, what's this $500 for? I got full insurance, health insurance from my job. And they go, right, but this is your portion, your copay, what you have to pay. And he goes, my doctor said it would cost nothing. And they're like, no, you need that $500. They thought there was debris in his leg and he could lose his leg. That joker, this is how hard-headed he is. Instead of spending $500, he goes, I'm out of here, and he left. He never got the MRI. But thank God they gave him a whole bunch of you know, antibiotics and stuff prior to that, and his leg healed up. He looks at it like, hey, I saved 500 bucks. I look at it like, idiot, you could have lost your leg for 500 bucks. I would never have taken that chance, but different strokes for different folks. But that's my frugal friend there, we call him. And he's only frugal on certain things, obviously himself. But the other one, we'll call him Dan Kidholm. We'll call him Dan Kidholm. And Dan's a real talented guy. He's can fix or build anything. I told him he should start doing a YouTube channel. And Dan's a pretty good guy. He's a hard worker, works every day. But all three of these guys are telling me about what to do. Let me cut it right here. So, where did I leave off? Oh, all three of these guys are telling me, I told them, I made the mistake and said, hey, I'm posting this stuff on YouTube. So they tracked me down, or I showed one of them, they spread it around. So they're watching it on occasion. And they all want to tell me how to increase my traffic and all that. And I'm like, look, I want to increase the traffic, of course, if people enjoy it and, you know, like this stuff. But I'm slow going. I'm just doing this kind of for fun. And trying to educate a little bit about e-bikes, building your own do-it-yourself kits. But they're all like, oh, you got to do this and you got to do that. And I'm like, especially Lenny Crouch. Lenny Crouch knows it all. I go, you haven't even looked at the analytics. When you start a YouTube channel, you can watch, you can see when it's viewed, how many people viewed it, that type of thing. It's really interesting. But all these guys are giving me advice, and I'm like, look, you guys obviously aren't watching my videos, because I say numerous times I'm just out here to get an exercise. Since the lockdown, I just want to get out more and get exercise. I enjoy riding. And you know, if the views come, that's great. If they don't, that's okay too. No big deal. But I mean, I've had two people comment. One guy said, hey, nice skills. I don't know what that meant, but hey, I replied back, thanks, appreciate it. And the other guy commented the other day, he goes, good video, but you've only got 4 views on that. And I wrote him back and I told him the same thing. Yeah, I'm just doing it for fun, and you know, posting online. If people like watching it, great. And he's like, you should have more views. And I'm like, I'm not really worried about it. But it's just amazes me how my 3 buddies, they're all experts now. And none of them, not a single one of them, have a YouTube channel. They're scared to put their stuff up. Come on, Lenny, make one. Dan, make one. Steve, make one. I'll help you. So hopefully they see this and get a kick out of it, but we'll see. I just want to be clear. I'm not ragging on my 3 buddies, but they just don't understand. They're like, oh, transitions, and you know, you got to have an intro. And I'm like, look, guys, I don't have time to do any of this stuff. But I edit what I can, and do what I can as quick as I can. And you know, people, it's not a full-time, this is not a job. This is just like, it's not even a hobby, really. I'm just shooting this stuff, and they're like getting more serious about it than I am. It's funny, but all right, that's about it. Just want to clarify that a little bit. There you go, buzzards are out. A couple of them just flew over my head when the camera's off. Pretty neat, pretty neat. But yeah, this air shock, it's like I said, I'm looking down at it. I readjusted the pressure in it. It's doing a little better, but I still think it's hitting. So I either got to move this battery up, put more pressure in the shock to where it doesn't compress us down as far, which I don't want to do that, or get another battery. So I'm gonna have to do some thinking on this as far as what I want to do. I don't feel like dumping any more money into this right now. It wouldn't be dumping, it would be, you know, investing. Yeah, it's still hitting just a hair. Okay. All right, well, yeah, I'd rather put off buying another battery right now, tell you the truth. The batteries have gone up somewhat. And this is a 13 amp hour battery, 52 volts, and it runs this thing great. You get 40, 60 miles. I'm thinking maybe I could go with a smaller 48 volt battery with a 8 or 9 hour amp hour and probably get, you know, 30 miles. But I enjoy just coming out and riding this thing 9, 10, 11, 12 times, 15 times without having to worry about charging it up. I mean, it's just one more thing you got to do, especially if I mount the battery up high. I can't take that into the other room to charge it up. I got to take the bike around the back into the basement and charge it up there, and I'm not crazy about charging them up in the house, to tell you the truth, without putting them in a box or something like that. But we'll see what happens. Oh, these leaves right here, they're starting to change. On a lot of the videos I do, they were all green and plush, and now they're starting to change. It's gonna, hopefully they'll be real bright here. You can see them there. But as the season goes, it's gonna be neat to see how they change out.